Hello, and welcome to Awaking Moment podcast. I'm danipalacio, and I am so happy that you are here with me today. If this is the first time that you're listening, I welcome you to explore the many episodes on so many different topics. I hope you find something that is supportive to your journey. And for those that are ongoing listeners, thank you so much. It warms my heart. It helps me stay motivated to do every episode, and I really appreciate you and all of your support. And if you could and feel aligned and called to, please share this with other people. Pass on the URL or your favorite episode. I'd really appreciate that as well. Okay, so today, for this week's episode, it's almost spring in North America, and I live in Oregon, and so we are having that weird spring where we have like 55, 60-degree days where the sun is out and it feels like, oh my God, tomorrow's going to be summer. And we're so excited. So before we skip spring and move into summer, today's episode is dedicated to how can you prepare for spring? I don't know if you've ever thought about it that way. I think a lot of times we're so grateful for the warmer weather, for the blossoms, for the reminder that things grow and that things live and that it's all so beautiful. And I think there is deep appreciation for that. But if we slow it down a little bit more, how do we prepare not only our physical space, but our own temple, our spiritual space? How can we take care of our body and how can it align with our soul? So spring equinox is the official day here in North America where we move into this season of spring. And that's on March 20th, this year, 2025. And it's at 2:01 a.m. Pacific time. So you'll have to figure out your own time zones. But the 20th marks a day, right? And every day marks a day, really, if you think about it. But we're starting into a new season. So we're going to end winter. And if you've listened before, I've talked about winter, about how things slow down and how bears go into hibernation and squirrels have gathered their food for the winter and they are well prepared to move into a very slow, cold, dark experience of winter. And internally, winter has been one of those deeper reflections. We've changed years during the winter season. We've gone from 2024 to 2025, and a lot has changed from December 21st to March 20th. I'm not going to name them all, but I want you to just take a moment and think about all of the things that have changed in your life, externally in your environment, in your community, within you and your family, within your friend zone, within your work, and then within you. What shifts and changes have you made? That's one way to help prepare yourself to receive the abundant blessings of spring. So before I get into some lists that I've made to help inspire, I wanted to share one of my favorite stories and my favorite experiences, honestly, when it comes to spring, and that's cherry blossoms. So I've always loved cherry blossoms. There's so many different varieties, right? There's the single cherry blossom where it's just a few petals and there's this beautiful, delicate flower that turns into this amazing fruit that is actually one of my favorite fruits, the cherry. And some of them are just flowering cherries where it's a tree that just flowers these beautiful ranges of color, everything from a very, very soft pink to a more bold pink. They can be double flowered, so they're really fluffy. And every time I see a cherry blossom, something within my soul responds, something so deep that is so mystical and beautiful and causes me to stop and go, wow, that is so incredible. Like, it's more than what I'm seeing. It's so much energy. There's so much love and sweetness and kindness and joy in a cherry blossom for me. Now, that might happen with you for maybe a daffodil or a tulip or what else is a spring flower? Well, just the small buds of all the trees. Um, so, back to my cherry story. So, I had the opportunity and the privilege to live in Japan during my college years. I went over there for a year to study, and I was blessed by their cherry festivals. And I hadn't put it together because I was young, right? I walked the cherry blossoms. I walked the lined areas, the parks, the way that the temples used a cherry tree to blossom, to bring in energy, was so apparent to me. It moved my soul. And then I realized when I came back that Washington, D.C. has a whole cherry tree park thing that I was like, huh, I didn't know that. And I live in Oregon, and the state capital is Salem. Salem and the Capitol Parkade, the park area, is lined with cherry blossoms, and it's the most beautiful thing. And I have spent time there, and in DC, and when you plant multiple cherry trees, there's something so electric, so beautiful. It's like love is in the air. Like there is this undeniable frequency, vibration, feeling visually that just awakens something so deep within me. And so I want you to find your thing for spring, whatever that might be. I was at the local store, kind of like a hardware feed farm store the other day, and they had bunnies. And I was like, wow, I haven't really been that close to that many bunnies in a really long time. And they are so precious, so beautiful, so sweet. I can see why bunnies are a sign of spring. They're adorable. They elicit joy and sweetness and newness. And they're so, I mean, these ones were very like sleepy, and they hopped around, but the way that they just nestled in together reminded me of community, reminded me how in nature and in the animal world, we naturally are together. They come together to support each other. They lean into each other. They support each other with warmth and comfort to remind them that they're not alone. And I want to encourage you to do that. We are in a time where separation and I'm not that, I'm this, separation of agreements of what's right, what's wrong, what's all of that. And you have the right to decide all of that for yourself. You are sovereign, and we are eternally connected. We are a group of beings that have been put together exactly where we are. So, on that note, I want to encourage you to be more like bunnies and other sweet animals that kind of pack together and support each other and love each other. All right. So, I'm going to stop talking about all of that for a second, and I'm going to move into some very practical ways that you can, if you haven't thought about how can you prepare for spring. So, obviously, your external world, your property, your yard, your back balcony, your front porch, can all be areas where you can take some extra time and care for the earth, right? So remember, in spring, she is alive and she is bursting forth all of the growth and the expansion, all the blooms, all the things that you didn't see underneath the layer of dirt or earth or planting bed, flower bed. They're all now starting to pop through. And they're glorious. They elicit, honestly, they like, hey, wake up. Hey, feel brighter. And I think we do when we see it. At least I do, and I hope you will. So, real logically, I don't know if it's my Virgo self or part of Capricorn, whatever astrological part it is, there is a spring cleaning that happens in our world. It's and we can do it whenever, but go through your stuff. do the deep clean the windows, vacuum those corners, dust off the spider webs, declutter, let go of stuff that you don't need anymore. There's so many things you can do it on Netflix. I can't remember her name right now, but she's very inspiring about getting rid of your stuff. And there's just so many other ways to find out how to declutter. Like one rule that I know is if you haven't used it in a year, you don't need it anymore. And if I go through my house and pull out everything I haven't used in a year, whew, I'd have to get a truck. So maybe I'm going to do a little bit of that this year. What else? There's, outside. So your yard. You can plant flowers. You can get potting plants and plant something to help grow. If you're not a gardener like me, then I would suggest things like buying, I just bought one actually, buying a wreath of fake flowers and stems and whatnot. And I put it on my door, and I looked at it the other day when I was driving away, and I was like, that really added a little sparkle to my house. So you do what's in your capacity, right? If you're not a gardener, if you are, then take care of the soil, give it nutrients, till it up, trim the things, right? The bushes and pull out the dead and all of that. If you didn't do that in the fall, then do it now. And prepare. Basically, this whole concept is to prepare yourself for what is growing in your life. And you have to sometimes clean out the beds and throw away the stuff, and to create the space for newness to exist. So if you haven't thought about spring in that way, I want to invite you again to shift your perspective. If I really want to grow, if I have these desires, I really want a desire to feel differently, to experience life differently, to learn a new language, to travel, to connect with a family member or a friend. You have to create space for that to occur, not only in your schedule, but in your heart and in your energy. So we're going to shift things a little bit and move it into a more spiritual, energetic, how do I prepare for spring? Okay, I have a long list for this one because it was really fun to think about how we can do this. I personally, as I was preparing for this episode, had never really thought about all the various ways. I think I just think of them as normal in everyday life for me, but they're not it for everyone else. So, as you know, I like to write things down. So I'm going to grab the list here. And before I move on to this, I want to also encourage you to volunteer. Our world needs more volunteers. Donations are amazing, but when you can spend time in a cause or in a group, it brings support and awareness, and it also will change you, right? So one of the things we have here in Oregon, because we have a long coastline, is clean up the beach. And so that's an ongoing activity that happens, I think, 2 or 3 times a year. And it's really fun. You can just go out, sign up, and a group of people will head out to a particular beach, and they will pick up all the trash and all the little things that shouldn't be there. And you can do that on the side of a road. There's organizations that do that. So maybe look for an opportunity to volunteer. It multiplies over and over again. It's exponential. Okay, here we go, people. Spiritually, energetically, I mentioned that spring is when the earth blooms, right? So everything is growing, and it's also rebirthing. So perennial plants, my father was a nurseryman, so perennial plants are plants that return year after year. Annual plants are for a season. They grow, they do their thing, and then they die. So think about the rebirth, though. Think about the things in your life that are ongoing, and every season they shift and change. So how can we use this as a catalyst for our own inner world? How can we look at ourselves and say, is this belief? Check in with your beliefs. Is this belief rebirthing is this belief done and complete and I don't need it anymore? And see how attached you are. You'll notice, you'll be like, well, that's a belief that really works for me. I'm not going to give that up. But I want you to take a moment and say, do I really need it? It's a lot like decluttering a home. Declutter your belief systems. We get them from all over the place, from our parents, from loved ones, from our jobs, from the world, from our own internal experiences that we've made something mean something. And so then we create this new belief. Maybe that worked when we were 7, but guess what? It doesn't work when you're 40. And that's perfectly okay. Like it's part of the natural process. So go through your beliefs, sit down, write them down. Just brainstorm. What are my beliefs? What do I believe? Do I believe this? Do I believe that? And then ask yourself, do I need that belief? So the fun thing for me anyway is, I love crystals. If you could see my desk right now, there's probably a dozen crystals because I love their beauty. I love what they mean when I look them up. I love that they're connected to a different chakra energy. I love that they came from Mother Earth and that they can bless my life. And I do believe they support me. And you'll also see lots of bottles of essential oils that I put on every single day to, 1, to smell good, and 2, to smell a certain scent that might help bring in a memory or help bring in an energy that's going to support me that day. Today on my wrists, I put on cheerful, and it's sweet and it's citrusy, yet it's grounded and lots of woody kind of smells to it. So it reminds me that joy is this complexity. To be in the state of being cheerful is sweet and grounding. So I want you to adorn yourself with crystals and essential oils, bless your body, and align with your spirit. It's magical if you just allow yourself to experience it. You don't have to get into the judgments of maybe where you thought crystals were used or how essential oils were used. These are just natural parts of the earth that have come into our awareness, have come into our homes. So the next time you are out and there are crystals, there's pocket crystals. They're shaped in every possible shape. I mean, hearts, stars, all of it. Whatever, animals even are carved from crystals. And you can find this. I found them at the airport before. I have found them at the grocery store. I, of course, have found them at crystal shops. But go in without any expectation and just see what you're drawn to. What feels good? What looks pretty? What sparkles the most? Whatever it is for you, trust it. Get one. And then just put it in your pocket. Put it in your purse. Maybe set it out on your nightstand or on your TV stand or somewhere that you can see it, and allow it to support your journey of growth and allow it to awaken a part of you that is uniquely you, right? Like, I could tell you, go get this crystal. But that doesn't mean that it's going to resonate for you. So what I will share on the spring perspective is yellow, green, clear, and white are very spring colors, right? If you think about all of the new growth, the new buds on the tree, they're very lime green. There's a lot of yellow in the green right now because it's so bright. And then clear and white are always amplifying crystals. And so if that helps you kind of narrow it down, like, Danny, there's too many and I don't know what to choose, maybe start with yellow, green, clear, and white. So this is something that I want to bring up. It's a ritual cleansing. And ritual is a word that I love because it means it's repetitive, that it's a process, and it's intentional. Whatever ritual means for you, if it makes you nervous, let it go. Or allow yourself to shift the perspective. If you've associated it with something negative in your life, see how maybe you can soften that. But doing some form of cleansing, and I don't mean physical, like taking a bunch of herbs or supplements or things like that to flush out and clear out your body. No, this is more of energetic. So crystal bowls have a frequency and a vibration, and they resonate and vibrate out. And as you're in that sound, it cleans and clears your energy. Smudging your home. There's a whole episode that a dear friend, Sunny Brown, and I did last year, and I will link it so that you can learn more about how to smudge your home. Like, what is sacred smoke? And it can come from all kinds of different things, but there are ancient civilizations that continue this practice that have taught us how to use sacred herbs and wood and scent to clear out. And so this spring, open up all the windows and use sage, use rosemary, use what Palo Santo, whatever those essences are for you that you can burn, and use that smoke to clear out all the little nooks and crannies. And trust me, it will feel peaceful and pristine and so much more settled. Remember, the house has been closed out for winter. So you open up those windows and just let out all the excess, all the residual, and welcome in all that new fresh air. Okay, so this one's fun, and I want to encourage you to play with this one. And it's about fire. Fire for spring is about the illumination. So in winter solstice time, at end of December 21st, we use flame to remind us of the light and that the light would return. By spring, the light has returned. We are having way more light, and we're going to get into an equal light dark thing again on the equinox. But allow fire this time to illuminate the path. With all these new things growing and all this excited energy and all this desire to get busy, like spring is bubbly for me, and it's luminescent, honestly, for me. So when I think about fire for spring, light a fire or a candle to be able to see the path that you're meant to go down. It is transmuting, so you can burn things, of course, as a way of releasing. But spring is about growth and rebirth and illumination and expansion and life. That beautiful, deep, powerful life force energy that Mother Earth is just exuding at spring and inside ourselves. So that internal flame, that solar chakra, the right, belly button area of your body has an internal flame. Maybe find a meditation that allows you to connect to your inner flame and see what that flame is looking like for spring. Maybe you need to do some cleanup there. Like maybe it needs more wood. Maybe you need to expand it and grow it so that it feels warmer and more powerful for you. Whatever that might be. But use fire as that. It's not so much to transmute stuff, but to illuminate. It's a slight difference, and I know that there are little nuances there, but just play with it. I mean, all of this is just stuff to play with, right? Okay. Of course, bring nature inside, right? You can buy a new house plant. You can get some fresh cut flowers. If you live in an area where you're in a warmer climate and spring is actually more warm and there's a lot of stuff blooming, you can, of course, go outside and cut flowers and bring them in. But if you need to buy them, go for it. If this is something that you don't normally do, every grocery store has bouquets of flowers. My favorite are often found at Trader Joe's, but that's just me. Here's the thing, I've also sent myself flowers from a flower store. I've had them delivered, bouquets of flowers. I would do one a month, and I did it for a year. And it was beautiful because even though I was paying for it, they were delivered, I would go receive them. I'd bring them into my home. I'd put them in a special spot. And it would remind me how life is blooming, how loved I am. So maybe start something like that this spring. Okay, last but not least, this is the experiential. No, that's not the word. I think you guys understand, but it's the experience that I invite you into. So I think no matter where you live, unless you're in the desert, there's going to be new blades of grass that are growing, expanding. They're soft and they're bright green. And I personally don't have grass in my yard at all, but there are lots of places where there is grass. Even out in nature, there's grass. But it's all very soft and bright green. And the reason I bring this up is because I invite you to take your shoes off, go barefoot, and stand on that soft, fresh green grass. And just allow your feet to feel the softness, to feel the coolness of the earth. To feel the vibration of life growing from Mother Earth up into you. It's a beautiful way to honor spring, honor yourself, honor the earth, and remind yourself that you are deeply connected to this planet. And that the energy that moves through the earth also moves through you. So in Peru, they call her Pachamama. And I love that. Mother Earth, right? So what is your connection to Mother Earth? And this one act could start a whole new experience for you. And I'm going to give you some resources in the summary notes of people I really recommend if you want a deeper, more profound relationship with the earth, with the flowers, with the trees, with the waters of the earth. There's a few people in my awareness and in my world that do this. That's their calling, and I'm so grateful to know them. So please check them out. Yeah, they have beautiful offerings, and so a lot of them can happen remotely, so you don't have to be where they are. Okay, all right. Oh my goodness, spring. As you can tell, I am excited. I love it. I welcome it. And I look forward to doing some of my own suggestions because honestly, I have more than not probably forgotten to stop and honor the change of seasons. I think I've gotten better about it over the course of my life. I really try and live my life by the seasons. But preparing for this episode helped me reclaim my joy and helped me remember that there are so many ways, small, larger, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how long it takes or how much time you have to prepare. It could happen in a moment, right? Like I have been known to be walking down the street and saw a tree and fell in love with that tree in that moment. And I have stopped and I have honored that tree. I have more than likely hugged it or put my hand on it or put my back against it. And why not? I mean, think about how crazy the world is. Every human's doing their own unique expression. Embrace your weirdness and just go out and do what feels loving and kind and supportive to you through this spring season. We've got a few more weeks, so you've got time to think about it if you need to and get your tools and your things. But again, you don't need anything. It's just you and that energy, and however it shows up as a representation. Welcome to spring. And so next week, I want to give you a little preview. Next week, we're going to do a new goddess in the goddess series. And she is very much connected to spring. And so I invite you to tune in next week and see what you think. Take care and have a wonderful rest of your moment. And I hope that you enjoy spring and let it illuminate all the new possibilities.